you would think that the 3-minute intro would be enough to have me ready. Still don't be ready. What's going on, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What up? What up? What up? What up? What is up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Um, hey, 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 hey to the now. Hey, 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 hey. What is going on, y'all? Hey, everybody. Let me say hey to y'all. Hey, Volvo. What's good, Cookie? Hey, Raphael. Hey, Jason. What's good, bro? Hey, Abby. Hey, Donnie. What is going on, y'all? So yes, y'all, yes, we have things that we need to discuss, and we're going to do that. What you, okay, there you go. I was looking for my you know, I like to wear around the house. You know those little like if you go to the hospital and you stay for any amount of time, they give you the little hospital booties. So I got a friend who works for the hospital, and I always tell him to bring me some of the hospital booties. So I have some hospital booties every now and again. I can't be like, can you bring me another couple pairs of hospital booties, extra large? And so I got some of those. I like to put them on to keep my feet warm at home. Anyway, is that weird? What is going on? Let me adjust. The hat got on my favorite sweater, and we are here this morning, y'all. Listen, wait, let me go get it. Oh, I got a snack right here. Oh, I only got like I've been really going through these snacks, Lord. Reese's white chocolate thins. This will help with our sugar spikes. And I just opened yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was another. I just opened another pack of my little unicorns that I be buying. Don't judge me. I love the little unicorn things. They be so good. It don't make no sense. So because we're gonna have several sugar spikes this morning. So, oh, you ain't missed nothing, Tabitha. I'm just saying hi, honey. That's all. We ain't even started yet. What's going on, Tabitha? Wait, I got the can two coconut. Oh, you got it, every. Didn't I tell you it was good, Mitch? Okay, where's that? Listen, y'all. Y'all know I like to promote different things that work for me, honey. So what Abby is talking about is I found this. Now, where did you buy yours online, Abby? This little lotion right here, this little Cantu Skin Therapy. Get the coconut oil 100. It'll change your life. It will change your goddamn life, honey. Do you hear me? You think I'm lying? It's not a game. It's real and Abby is will tell you. Abby will tell you, honey. So okay, you get yours from Walmart, Volvo. Okay. Okay. Yes, honey. She is so good. Oh, you got it on Amazon. Okay. Okay, child. Child. Y'all go get y'all some. For black skin. Once us black people find something that works good with our black skin, child, you have to be all over it, honey. So get you some. Now I found some Walmarts don't have it. So it probably depends on what area you in. You got to be in the area with black people. So hey, Miss Trisha P. All right, y'all. So let me open up this good laptop so I can get my uh let me break the fourth wall and show y'all some producing. So what I usually do is I will take notes for myself on my phone, and then I will email the notes to myself in an email because I'm good about emails. I'm great with emails and text. So and the morning of a live, I will email myself all of the like my programming notes of everything that I want to talk about. If there are any articles, I'll email myself the link. So I am opening said email, and there it is. So everybody got there. I've talked for a little bit. I gave everybody a chance to get them some snacks for our sugar spikes. I done gave people a chance to come in, say, hey, winter is coming. Yes, winter is coming, and we do not need to be chapped. Now, if y'all have recommendations for good chapstick, because I need lip balm and stuff to coat my lips so they don't be cracked and stuff, y'all let me know. I usually go with what's the name? I don't know. I'll tell y'all. I got to go buy some more today, so I'll let y'all know. Mm. Anyway, so let's start out in the great state of Georgia. Okay, there is a story that I do want to spend some time on later. Sugar levels will spike, and y'all know I like to try to bring you a story that maybe you haven't heard or hasn't been publicized in the news that we need to concern ourselves with and shine a spotlight on. So yeah, I got my lesson. Tried and true. Welch's passion fruit, tried and true. Come on. Mm. So if you don't like this, the problem is you and not me. Try lip oil versus chapstick. But I feel like it'll make my lips too oily. I don't know, Abby. Abby, I'll talk to you. We'll talk so you can give me some recommendations. I'm gonna try it though. Tell me to try it. I'm gonna try it. Anyway, so in the great state of Georgia, we're not going to start with America's taint, Florida. We will start with Georgia. Um, so Tabitha's shouts out to my girl Tabitha. If you're not subscribed to her and Evie and all of the YouTubers in here, go subscribe to them. Raphael's a YouTuber as well. Um, in Tabitha's state of Georgia, her governor Brian Kemp had some words on Saturday. What happened Saturday? Hey, really, B, what's going on, my love? You must be on a planning period. Hey, boo. Um, so on Saturday, the Braves won the pennant, meaning they won the National League spot in the World Series. So they're going to the World Series to represent the National League. Okay. And so, which means that uh, part of the World 7 game series, the World Series 7 game series, will be. Oh, okay, really, B, I got you. Will be in the state of Georgia in Atlanta. Hey, Tracy, at least 2 games. Even if there's a sweep, they will at least have 2 games in the state of Georgia. So Governor Kemp, instead of doing like a good leader would do and just go out and say, congratulations, we are so happy that our beloved Braves are going to the World Series. They have not been to the World Series in 22 years. There are probably players on that team that were not alive the last time they went to the World Series. I'm talking about you going back to the John Smoltz days and stuff like that. The last time they were in the World Series. Okay. Now, like you said, Jason, they about to have a whole COVID con because you know they're gonna be packed up in that doggone stadium like sardines. No mask the first. Okay. Anyway, Governor Brian Kemp did congratulate the Atlanta Braves, but you were so pressed and so fucking hard up on on Stacey Abrams that you had to start the first sentence of your congratulatory tweet mentioning Stacey Abrams. I'll get the dates for you. Somebody, one of my mods and fact checkers, can y'all put the dates of the World Series? Because I'm looking at this right now. I want to go off the page. Somebody will put it in the chat, Tabitha. Here's what he tweeted out, and I quote: "While Stacey Abrams and the MLB stole the All-Star game from hardworking Georgians, the Braves earned their trip to the World Series this season and are bringing it home to Georgia. Chop on and go, Braves." Now, where is this coming from? The World Series, not the World Series, excuse me, the All-Star game this summer, back in July, was supposed to be in Georgia, in Atlanta, at Truist Park, which is the home of the Atlanta Braves. But when Governor Brian Kemp and his band of merry men down there to the Capitol building in Atlanta started to unsheath all kinds of legislation stopping and preventing people from voting, and all kinds of voter suppression laws that they began to put out there. MLB, doing the right thing, said, "Hey, we're not here for this foolishness. We're not here for this foolery and foolala. Not here for any of it." And so what happened is they snatched the All-Star game from Atlanta. Governor Kemp got real upset about it. He lost his doggone mind. He said, "Oh, Stacey Abrams and her people are taking food money out of the hands of great Georgians or whatever." Well, let's be clear, Governor Brian Kemp, you take money out of the hands of Georgians, okay? Much more than Stacey Abrams could ever do. Let's just be clear. Lord, don't. You are one of the people that are trying to keep people from earning a living wage. You're one of the people against $15 an hour as a minimum wage. So don't go there with us. See, for me, Governor, I called him Governor Abbott, but they're the same. They from the same cloth. Governor Kemp, don't come out here talking about you care about Georgians making money and you're so concerned about them making money when the very same people that would have been working concessions down there to that stadium where the Atlanta Braves play aren't even making a living wage, sweetheart. Dear one, love bug. You, sir, are keeping money out of their pockets by not allowing them to be able to earn a living wage. You, sir, are taking money out of people's pockets. Some of the very same people who lost their jobs because of COVID and haven't been able to get new jobs. You were one of the first people to say, "Oh, we're gonna sign up for them to be able to get evicted again." Because when the eviction ban was lifted or whatever, you were one of the first governors to say, "Yeah, I'm here for all the smoke." You, sir, are taking money. You were one of the first proponents of saying, "Yeah, y'all don't need this good unemployment check. Let me go ahead and snatch that good unemployment check." You, sir, have taken money out of the hands of Georgians way more than Stacey Abrams could ever dream of doing. If anything, Stacey Abrams and her organizations have been giving money to these people. You want to know why? There are a lot of people who are unemployed, who they even sometimes get the help of the homeless and things like that, that go out and beat the streets and do grassroots effort to get out the vote, to help people register to vote, to do all kinds of things to help empower people. And while they're doing that, yes, people volunteer, but they still pay people as much as they can based on how much money that they have in their organizations to do that type of work. But you out here talking about people taking money from Georgians when you've done that 1,000 times over. Come on now. Come on now. Because you want to have your COVID con down there to Truist Stadium where the Braves play, right? Um, just a mess. Just a damn mess. Just a goddamn mess. He then went on to say, okay, child, Tracy, you ain't never lied. Child. They went on to say, as I have, I'm sorry, this is what Governor Kemp goes on to say. As I have stated, I respect boycotts, although I don't want to see Georgia families hurt by lost events and jobs. I should, I just, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. That's what's going on. Hey, Quintessential down there to the state of Georgia. You know, if I'm Stacey Abrams, I'm sitting back like, girl, you real pressed. You real pressed, Governor Kemp. Because I listen, you can't even. You would think, like I said, you would think the first thing he would say, "Congrats, Braves, chop on, go on, whatever they say for the Braves." Because I'm not a Braves fan. That's all you need to do. But you couldn't even say Atlanta Braves before you said Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams has squatters' rights in your brain. Do you hear me? Okay. Listen, Stacey Abrams is rolling all through your brain and your mind with squatters' rights, honey. Baby mama girl done fixed her a drink. Mama girl done rolled her a blunt. Mama girl done sat down on the couch, got comfortable, got Miss Remote Piece, turned on Miss Netflix, and got comfortable, honey. Baby, she got her chips and snacks on the side, baby. She is comfortable because she is all up in your brain and in your mind. The I'm gonna read this again, and I'm not filtering, I'm not altering, I'm reading it exactly as that young man typed it. The second word of his tweet is Stacey Abrams. He doesn't even mention the Braves until well into the tweet. Here's the tweet. While Stacey Abrams and the MLB stole the All-Star game from hardworking Georgians, the Braves earned their trip to the World Series this season and are bringing it home to Georgia. Child, she is living rent free. Listen, Stacey Abrams is that broke unemployed boyfriend, no, not boyfriend, bust down that you thought was going to be a one night stand. And what happened is Stacey Abrams gave you that good, that's the one that gave you that good bust down that blew your back out and just had you roll over and go to sleep. And by the time you wake up the next morning, he's still in your house, and you ain't noticed he brought out his truck of his car because he's trying to hide from the people that's trying to repossess his car. So he's parking at your house. He done pulled about 4 or 5 suitcases, and they is in your closet, already taking up space in your closet. Talk about what we eating for breakfast, girl. You turn over looking like what? What we eating for breakfast? Your son or daughter knocking on the door, talking about mama, some car out there. I don't know who car that is. Just a mess. Just a damn mess. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Child, child, child. Hey, Amber. So, that's what's going on. That so we started all of this. I had to start y'all off with a little light before we get to our real sugar spikes, because y'all know we got some real sugar spikes are coming. Coming. Let me give you some quick hits before we get down to our sugar spikes, okay? Some quick hits before we start spiking out, okay? Oh, thank you so much, Quintessential. Quintessential added to the snack fund, okay? Thank you so much, Quintessential, for adding to the snack fund. You know, all of that good stuff. Anyway, quick hits. So, oh, did I leave that one out? Oh no, I didn't. There it is. I told y'all about our girl India Walton up there in the great city of Buffalo in the great state of New York. So, update, AOC is out campaigning with her, and they're doing the damn thing up there in Buffalo. AOC and India Walton, they had a excuse me, they went and they had a rally for her. They've also been helping with a hospital worker strike, and they went out there outside of Mercy Hospital, and there was videos where people were lined up like for blocks and blocks and blocks in support of them and the strike and so forth. So kudos to AOC. She's up there campaigning with our girl India Walton. If you don't know who India Walton is, I believe we talked about her in our very last Politics of It All. Beautiful black woman who the Dems got a problem with, and she ain't even did nothing but be a progressive. So shout out to India Walton, shout out to AOC. They were out at a rally and they were helping with the protest and the strike up there in New York. So we're gonna continue to follow India Walton, make sure they do right by India Walton. Another quick hit. That was a quick hit. Another quick hit. One of y'all favorite people of in the world, Matt Gaetz. So apparently, Matt Gaetz has lost his law license in the great state of Florida. Now, unfortunately, I have to say that this young man is someone who went to my fine institution of higher learning. Yes, we walked the halls and walked the quad and walked the sidewalks of the Florida State University, where excellence is always the rule of the day. At the same time, I think he was a freshman when I was a senior or something like that. Anyway, he has lost his license. Let me read. This is according to the Daily Beast. The Florida bar has branded Gaetz as delinquent twice in the past 2 years. The organization temporarily cut him off in 2019 and again in 2020. Because Gaetz failed to affirm that he is properly handling and protecting any client's money in trust accounts, lawyers must abide by strict rules to ensure that they are not stealing or misusing money that belongs to the people they represent, the Daily Beast reports. Congressman Gaetz is no longer actively engaged in the practice of law. He is focused on representing his constituents in Congress, not the courtroom. That's what Gaetz said. Let me see. He is currently, as you know, being investigated for child exploitation crimes and for sex trafficking and a whole list of a whole lot of other things. Anyway, the Florida bar has pulled his license to practice law in the state of Florida. I'm here for it. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. I'm here for it. That was a quick hit. All right. So let's get down to two of our big stories today, okay? So let me make sure I got all my other stories out of the way. That one's done. Oh, before we get to our two big stories, let me get this one out of the way. It's not a quick hit, but it's another story. So we're gonna talk about word on the curb is he's broke and can't pay those fees to renew his license. That might be, you might be right, Tabitha. I'll get with my people who are close to that camp. I'll see if I can find out. But you might be right. We're going to talk about this young man a little more later, but we're going to talk about him now. Jason's favorite person in the world, Senator Kirsten Sinema, along with Senator Joe Manchin, have been all over the news, okay? They are the ingrown pubic hairs of the Democratic Party, just sitting there irritating and itching you in places that should not be irritated or itching. Okay, Lord. Anyway, so what do we know? see, look at Jason. Couldn't even help himself. Anyway, what do you need to know? What is it about them? I mean, there's so many things not to like about them, but it isn't specifically about them. It's about people who are supporting them. Now, y'all get this, get in, come. I want y'all to lean in and hear me good, because you're about to hear some things and about some companies that are supporting these troglodytes. Now, there are some self-proclaimed pro-climate companies and corporations that are steady giving to the campaigns of Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema. These are companies that have stated that they're green and they are pro-climate and they're doing everything in their power, say, Mr. Pisces, to help with the climate, but you're giving money to Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. Now, why is that a problem? I'm glad you asked, okay? If you recall, let me read the first part of the article, and it's going to tell you what you need to know. As if it wasn't that wealthy polluters have bankrolled Senator Manchin during his fight against common sense climate solutions, now companies that claim to value protecting the environment have opened their pocketbooks as well. Remember, Senator Manchin has come under a whole lot of fire for taking a lot of money from companies, because you know he's a real big proponent of coal mining, and he's being funded by a lot of companies that want nothing to do with clean air, nothing to do with climate control, and so forth. Let me keep reading. Corporations that have previously trumpeted their support for sustainability and climate action have quietly given thousands of dollars to Senators Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, the two right-wing Democrats most responsible for gutting the Build Back Better Act's clean energy provisions and otherwise preventing their party from passing the transformative version of its reconciliation package. That's according to a new analysis out Friday from Accountable US, a government watchdog whose review of third quarter corporate FEC filings shows which self-styled green companies have been donating to the two lawmakers now holding the planet hostage. Corporations that have touted their environmental commitments only to turn and give campaign cash to Manchin, an unabashed coal profiteer and defender of fossil fuel subsidies, and Sinema, who recently proposed cutting $100 billion in climate funding from the Build Back Better Act. Here are some of these companies. ABVie, that's ABBVIE. That's one of the companies. They gave money to both Manchin and Sinema. In addition to that, and that was in quarter three. In addition to that, the company is a member of the Business Roundtable and Pharma, two major trade groups campaigning against the the reconciliation bill. Astellas, Astellas, which is also a lobbying group for pharma. They gave and donated $3,000 to Kirsten Cinema in quarter 3. AT&T, oh yes, that AT&T, the same AT&T who I pay a bill to, who I might need to consider not paying a bill to. Okay, AT&T donated to Kirsten Cinema and her level brand of fuckery. Okay, just a mess. They know they donated $2,000 to Kirsten last quarter. Amazon, they gave $5,000 to Kirsten Cinema last quarter. If you need her, Toyota gave money to Senator Joe Manchin last quarter. So, and there's a list of more companies here. The problem is this, okay? So the problem is this. Oh yes, AT&T, Amazon, all of these companies are donating to the Kirsten Cinemas and Joe Manchins of the world. Toyota. Now, if they're donating thousands of dollars to them in just a random quarter during a non-election year, and that's just in a quarter, meaning 3 months. Imagine what they're going to begin to donate during an election year, in the midst of a heated election cycle come next year. I'm just saying. Now, here's a little thing about Joe Manchin and his level brand of fuckery. If you really follow the politics, and I'm not going to go way too deep, but I do want to go a little bit deep into some of the legislation so we can extrapolate some parts of it that's going to tell you how nefarious these people are. Joe Manchin, who was around here windmilling and fighting for certain things, he went and basically strong arm Chuck Schumer into giving him basically sole jurisdiction over a very important committee, the Clean Electricity Performance Program. He got Chuck Schumer to give him that sole jurisdiction over this important piece of the legislation. And then when it got time for the legislation, he killed it, got it removed. In addition to that, okay, he had them add an additional $11 billion to the bill for miscellaneous and ancillary reasons. And now he has already earmarked that $11 billion to go to his coal mining companies and to expand coal mining in his area, which completely goes against anything dealing with clean air, climate change, and helping the environment. Because they're not going to do anything but go and burn coal and add more pollutants to the air. Telling y'all, you got to watch Kirsten Cinema. This watchdog group has noted that from companies such as this, corporations have given her in excess of $920,000. Okay. And this is just for her opposition of the Build Back Better Act. Okay. These are all corporations that have very real reasons to oppose the Build Back Better Act. And in a sum total, as of right now, she has accepted $900 $20,000 from those companies alone. So this is why she has no reason to try to coalesce with any parts of her own party, the Democratic Party, definitely not with anybody else. So she don't care. She do not care if y'all don't like her. She do not care if y'all don't vote for her. Y'all can call her every name in the book if y'all want to. She's gonna sit right there and collect her money from the same corporations that some of us patronize and some of us give money to, and some of our hard-earned monies that we are giving to these corporations, they're turning around and lining the pockets of people who are not in our best interest, of people who are doing things counter to what we need them to do to live as, live and have our being here in these yet to be United States of America. It's a mess, y'all. It's a mess. It's a mess. Listen, they also came out and said that Kirsten Sinema accepted $100,000 from Big Pharma and Wall Street last quarter alone, just in 3 months. Child, remember she was against the whole. There was a they were trying to pass a bill that would have reformed Medicare to so that they could have more competitive prices and so forth, and so that they could negotiate lower prices for services and for for doctor fees and services and medicines and stuff like that. She didn't want no parts of it. She was opposed to it, totally opposed to it, because Big Pharma is lining her pockets. Just a mess, just a damn mess. So listen, these people have no intentions on doing anything to help their constituency. They have no intentions on doing anything that is the actual part of their job. You know what I'm saying? They want no parts in aligning themselves with doing the actual job to which they have been elected. What they want to do is they want to sit there and line their pockets and live in their white privilege and sit there so that they can have money to give to their children so that their children could live in their white privilege and white supremacy, perpetually. They don't give a shit about how we feel. They don't give a shit about us being poor. They don't give a shit about how we're living our lives. All they care about is what is in it for me and how am I going to line my pockets. A mess. This is a mess. We ain't done with these two troglodytes yet, though. We are not done with these two troglodytes. They're going to help us transition into our next story. Now, of course, we have to discuss now, mind you, we've been talking about this going all the way back to before Joe Biden was even inaugurated. Go back to some of the first politics of it all. I think the first politics of it all we had was the week of election. That was the first politics of it all that we had almost a year ago. Now, we've been screaming about the filibuster since then, have we not? Now, here's the thing. Y'all cannot, okay, tell me that these people are not strategic. And they might be too late. When I say these people, I'm talking about the Dems. Do you see the backpedaling and pussy popping that Joe Biden is doing now? Because Joe Biden, for the longest time, has been very quiet and silent on the filibuster. He never wants to come out and say, yeah, let's end the filibuster. Let's do it. He never wants to do any of that. He stayed real quiet. Now, all of a sudden, he's vocal about it. Y'all been pussyfooting around and playing politics with Republicans and Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema all legislative session, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Now all of a sudden, oh, we're really going to sit down and come to some resolution on all of the things that's going on. No, the fuck you're not. No, the hell you're not. Oh, what did I just do? Sorry, y'all. No, you're not. You're not trying to do anything. You do not. Let's just be clear. Let's just be clear, okay, y'all? They are playing the game. Here is the problem. I don't want to hear about y'all. Oh, we're really thinking about ending the filibuster now. Oh, we're going to get on top of it. Yes, Joe Biden is speaking on it. He was saying that it's time. He still ain't coming right out and saying let's stop it. But he's saying it's time for us to get people in line, and it's time to stop the filibuster from keeping us from getting things done. Oh, now you're concerned because we're in election season now. We're about a year away from major elections, the midterms, and we are enthralled in election seasons now. The problem is you have lost a good portion of your base, Joe Biden. You've lost a lot of Black people. You've lost a lot of Hispanic people. You've lost a lot of independents. You've been lost to progressives. I don't even know if you ever really had them. We were just hanging on as progressives to see what you was going to do, but you never really had us progressives. Let's just be clear. And so what's happening now is you see the Democrat, brass out there, the Chuck Schumers and Nancy Pelosi, all of that old guard that I've been telling y'all about that needs to be put out to pasture, taken out in back like old Yeller, okay? But I mean, I'm not saying go shoot these people, no, but put them out of their miseries and take them out of office, okay? And so what you see is you see this kowtowing, you see this dance that they're trying to do to shore up, their base or whatnot, but it's too late. It's too late. Some people, a large portion of your base is already locked in and made the decision. I ain't doing this with y'all because it looks like posturing at this point. See, you could have kept that base if you would have came out from the beginning and kept your promises. Say, nope, we're gonna do this. And even if you couldn't necessarily do it, if your actions and your steps were in tune with us seeing that, yeah, he is trying. Yep, I see him down here every day speaking into every microphone, yelling and screaming at Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema to get off their duff and help in the filibuster. Yep, I see him because he's trying to put 4 more seats on this good Supreme Court so that we can get a Supreme Court that's a little more balanced than this fuck shit that we got going on right now that's conservative leaning and about to end a lot of the laws and rights that we have in these yet to be United States of America at this point. If I saw him putting pressure on Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi in the first month saying, no, we need the police, justice, criminal justice reform bills. We need the George Floyd bill. We need the John Lewis voting rights bill. If I would have seen him out here windmilling and stuff like that, but how many months in? And now y'all just starting to come around. When the Asians got shot, y'all had them a bill in less than a month. Y'all have had misstep after misstep after misstep after misstep after misstep. We're not just gonna keep letting you slap us like this, and then you come up and because you know what's about to happen. This is the most important election of your lifetime, and we need you to come out. Listen, this is gonna sound real horrible. Hello, Joe Biden. Hello, fellow white establishment Democrats. Us black people have lived through some of the worst atrocities in in the annals of humankind. We have lived through and we have thrived in some of the worst things that could happen to the human species. We will live through whatever y'all got going on. Now, I'm not saying that we want to. Now, I'm not saying that we want to experience that. But let's be clear. What we're not going to continue to do is allow you people to play in our faces. Allow y'all to keep trying to, galvanize us to say, please vote for us, vote for us, vote for us. And then we'll get nothing out of it. Because remember, some of y'all know who y'all are, was in my chat and talking to me last November and December when I was screaming when we first started to hear rumblings of Joe Biden's cabinet. And I was like, what you doing for us black people? What you doing for us black people? What you doing for us black people? And what did y'all say? Wait a minute, El Teddy, give him time. He's just getting there. It's gonna come around. Just wait it out. Hold on. He got a lot of things to do. He's gonna get around to us. We in October. This about to be November next week. We still waiting. Everybody else can get their stuff done. We still waiting. Anything involving us, it's getting cut. No questions asked. Anything involving us, we could put that on the back burner. No questions asked. But then when it comes time for election, now you want to tell us all of these promises that you have and make all of these promises that you know ain't no goddamn well you gonna keep. We got you there. We got you there. And as soon as we got you there, you said, oh no, I don't need no parts of you. Thank you for your services. Y'all can go have a seat now. But y'all gonna go over here. Listen, and this is nothing against the Asian community, and I'm not trying to slight the Asian community. I'm kudos to anybody who can get it how they live. Get yours when it's time. When they had their situation, immediate response. Immediate, no questions asked. Ain't nobody blinking out. Ain't nobody did nothing. Oh, this is one of the worst atrocities ever in the history of America. But there was a whole how many hundreds of years of millions of black people getting killed, and we still can't get nothing. Oh, we need to look out for all of the Latino and Latina brothers and sisters and give to them because they are the highest growing group in America and the minorities that we need to service who they are. We need to think about those immigrants because we don't want these Latinx communities being housed in cages, and we need to think about them as immigrants, and we need to think about the Asian immigrants coming over from Pakistan after the whole situation and so forth. But the black immigrants from Haiti, we whipping them like they're animals. And still, right now, today, deporting them back to a country that is in complete unrest. So much so, missionaries went down there to try to help the people of Haiti. And you know what the Haitian gangs did? They kidnapped them and they're holding them for ransom. And you wonder why people are trying to get out of that country? I'm not here for it. And then, listen, now this is gonna be real unpopular. Let me hold on. Let me take a piece of candy before I say this next part. Y'all gonna be mad. I don't care. Y'all about to be real mad. I do not care. Let's just call it what it is. Him selecting Kamala Harris as his vice president was him patronizing the entirety of the Black diaspora. Let's just be clear. Joe Biden selecting Kamala Harris as his vice president was him and the Democrats patronizing the entirety of the Black diaspora. You had, and what y'all said was, we gave you the vice president, sit your ass the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and don't ask us for anything else, because we ain't giving you nothing else. Period. We gave y'all a vice president. We ain't giving y'all nothing else. We ain't giving y'all nothing else. And then, now this where you get real. If I'm Kamala Harris, when do I say to myself, I'm not going to allow myself to be used as this political pawn like this? Because as an avid watcher of Big Brother, pawns always get voted out. And let's be clear, the Democratic Party would sooner have me run for president of the United States before they allow Kamala Harris to win the Democratic ticket for these yet to be United States of America. Please be clear. Wait, you, Kamala Harris, you are reaching if you think that the Democratic Party is going to have any parts of you seeing the ticket for the presidential nominee. So you over there throwing yourself out there to be this vessel by which the Dems can dangle in front of Black people and to patronize us and say, oh, well, we gave y'all something, leave us the fuck alone. What does that say about you and your integrity? Speaking of which, Black women who have questionable integrity, Condoleezza Rice, dear God, is in the news again. Oh, that gave me a bad taste in my mouth. She's insufferable. Condoleezza Rice decided to put on her tap dancing shoes and get out there in front of all of media and tell the likes of a Candace Owens, canned ass Owens, girl, sit down for a moment. Let me show you how this is done, okay? Girl, sit your ass to Candace. I got this, boo. I've been doing this way longer than you, okay? Sit your ass down and let me show you how you backpedal and pussy pop for the right, okay? Let me show you how this is done, okay? So if you don't know, Condoleezza Rice, who told you all that she's here for America. She believes in this country. She knows that this country is the greatest country in the history of humankind. She has unwavering love for this country. But then, in the next breath, you then go and say that we need to get past January 6th What in the stepping, fat, shuckling, and jiving and monkey man kind of shit is this? And the thing about it is, if you are a, Constitution toting Declaration of Independence carrying lover of this nation, like a lot of these people claim to be, you should be screaming from the rooftops that these people are already under the jail because the people tried to overthrow the very country that you say you love and are defending. Make it make sense. Y'all people tout loving this country so much, conservatives. Oh, America this, America first, America this, and America first. And you got people that wanted to take America down. They tried to overthrow the Capitol. They did take over the Capitol building. Let's be clear. They took over the Capitol, the truest of symbols of what this nation is, and then threatened to murder and assassinate the sitting vice president. But you say, oh, we need to get over that. Where do y'all find these people? Let me read this to y'all. The former White House official's comments. Well, let me let y'all hear what she said. Dear God, today. Hold on. Lord, help us, God. Hold on. All right. Let me let y'all hear it in her own voice. All right, here she go.
First of all, let me be very clear. I said at the time, January 6th was wrong. I called it an assault on law and order and an assault on our democratic processes. So full stop, it was wrong. Law enforcement will determine what happened there, and those who violated the law ought to be punished. I also, on January 6th, for the first time since I was the National Security Advisor on September 11th, I cried that day, right? Because I thought, I study countries that do this. Yeah. I didn't think it would happen in my own country. So it was a terrible moment. I will say that that night, when they filed back into the Capitol after it was secured, and they certified that election, I had new faith in our institutions and the people who were protecting them. So we came through that as a country that ultimately upheld the law. Now, I think what Senator McConnell may be referencing is, yes, it's time to move on in a lot of ways. Yeah. I'm one who believes that the American people are now concerned about their what we call kitchen table issues, the price of gasoline, inflation, what's happening to their kids in school. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I will say that as somebody who was a national security expert, maybe didn't see in quite the same way the rise of China in ways that we're seeing it now. And so we do have a lot of issues. And I hope that what we will do is move on to the next generation of leadership. Because even people like me, I was in Washington a total of 10 years, 2 years with George H.W. Bush, 8 years with George W. Bush. I shouldn't go back. We ought to move on to the next generation, move ahead and deal with the American people's issues. Would you go back if they asked you? I have no desire to go back to Washington, D.C. Absolutely.
And we are glad.
Well, I think it's really politically expedient for Mitch McConnell to say, let's move on, especially when the former twice impeached disgraced president enjoys attacking Mitch McConnell. But the problem is that past will become prologue if we don't find out exactly what happened January 6th. And we will. So it's not time right now.
I'm gonna just stop it right there.
We will find out. Moving on. We will find out. but I'm going to tell you, I live in California, not Washington, D.C. And the American people do have other concerns that we ought to be thinking about and talking about.
Respectfully,
And
Madam
so,
Secretary, I think
well, let me finish, Sunny, because as I said, I thought this would happen in countries I studied, not countries that I lived in. Our institutions have to be upheld. What happened on January 6th was wrong. I don't know how much more strongly I can say what happened on January 6th was wrong. I also know that as a government and as a country, we've got to be concerned about the things that are making life hard for Americans and hard for American families.
But when you have,
and that's what I'm ready to do.
But when you have 80% of Republicans wanting to see Trump run in 2024,
you know what? I'm a political scientist, all right? And unless I could see the questions that were actually in that poll, unless I could see the assumptions that were actually in that.
Well, let's stop right there. Dear God. I wonder, Condoleezza Rice, if some 20 years ago, in the great year of our Lord, 2001, this time, in October of 2001, whether or not when there was another attack on American democracy or another attack on this country, if just a couple months later, you and all of your little fucktards and ass clowns up there in the White House at the time would have been okay with hearing someone say, oh, I think we need to move on. Because in the same way, Bin Laden and all of his band of merry men were still alive and thriving and planning their next attacks at that time. And right now, you and these neo-Nazis and white supremacists and all of these people are still alive, planning their next plan of attack. So you talking about let's move on and let's go on. We had other pressing issues in the country at that time as well, but y'all wanted no parts of that. Y'all wanted no parts of hearing about, oh, we have other things that America cares about. Let's move on. Y'all didn't give a shit about that. Everything was brought to, we have to protect this country and we have to protect this nation. And now you're not so concerned with protecting this country and protecting this nation. All you're concerned with protecting is white privilege and white supremacy. Let's just be clear. That is all you want to protect, white privilege and white supremacy. And when I say that these people are still alive and still planning more things, here is what I mean, because now they are releasing the names of politicians that were involved with planning this. So you're telling us to move on, and now we're starting to see peel back, because see how we moved on, we would not have gotten these names that I'm about to read off of the people who are elected government officials who were actively helping to plan the fucking overthrow of this country and government. But we need to move on. We need to move on, right? Let me read some of these names for y'all. So let me read this for y'all, okay? Right, yeah, Condoleezza Rice is the one who says she don't remember racism being that bad in Birmingham, but she was alive and friends with the girls who got killed in the bombing at the church in Birmingham. But it wasn't that bad. Two people who helped plan the pro-Trump rallies that took place in Washington, D.C. that led to and I'm just adding this part because I can't, that led to a terrorist attack on this nation on January 6th, say members of Congress and the White House helped plan the protest that turned violent. The two people spoke to Rolling Stone for a report published Sunday evening. Neither of the sources were identified, though Rolling Stone described one as a, quote, rally organizer and another as a, quote, planner. Rolling Stone reported the two are also talking to the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack, terrorist attack. The sources said they took part in dozens of planning briefings before the January 6th rally where Trump spoke. That rally ended with protesters marching to the Capitol, where they overwhelmed Capitol Police and invaded the building, interrupting the counting of Electoral College votes by a joint session of Congress. 5 deaths were connected to the violence. The two sources for the Rolling Stone piece said the members who either participated in the work or sent top staffers included GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, Paul Gosar of Arizona, Lauren Boebert of Colorado, Mo Brooks of Alabama, Madison Cawthorn of North Carolina, Andy Briggs of Arizona, and Louis Gohmert of Texas, all sitting members of the United States House of Representatives. Both organizers also told the magazine that Mark Meadows, who was serving as then President Trump's chief of staff, played a significant role in discussions regarding the protests ahead of January 6th. One of the planners said, quote, Meadows was 100% made aware of what was going on, a regular figure in these rally tiny groups of organizers, end quote. The sources also said concerns were raised to Meadows that the Stop the Steal protest could turn violent. As y'all know, they've already subpoenaed Meadows, okay? This is a mess. So, we are now naming the names. There are more names of staffers and other people, but of greatest concerns are the ones that we named. But we got your girl over here shucking and jiving, telling us that we need to move on. We need to move on, right? We have people right now earning well, I shouldn't say earning, but receiving taxpayer dollars to line their pockets and pay their salaries as sitting members of the United States House of Representatives who were involved in with actively planning and organizing a terrorist attack on this country. We've been saying this to you from the beginning. How the hell do you think that these people knew exactly what everyone's office is? Offices, especially senators' offices and the Speaker of the House's office and all of these things, that's classified information. How the hell else you think they got this stuff? But Condoleezza Rice thinks we need to get over it. Where was this we need to get over it energy 20 years ago, Condoleezza Rice? Because y'all ain't have that kind of energy. Matter of fact, y'all were making up lies telling us about weapons of mass destruction. But it's time to move on. Y'all got to help me out. Make it make sense now. Make it make sense. All this going on. We got a lot going on, y'all. You know what? I said enough about that. I blathered about it enough about that. Them giving us the names is just, you know, confirmation of what we already knew. We knew that there were members of Congress that were doing this. We knew that. I mean, Rafael Cruz and Josh Hawley don't want no parts of that. Their name's not on this list because I'm sure somewhere there's somewhere in there. I'm sure they have some staffers that they sent over there. I'm sure other names will roll out there. Like I expect to see a Devin Nunes or somebody around here with their names on top of this stuff. A mess. Now, I'm going to take this moment to give us a sugar spike break because this next story is going to spike you out. You probably have not heard this story yet, so let's take a moment to regulate our sugar level. Let me take one of these Reese's and eat it now. Take a moment. It's going to spike you out. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. Dear God. These little thin Reese's are so good. When you put them in the freezer and you freeze them and they get kind of hard, they be so good. Anyway, are we ready? Are we ready now, people? Dear God. Put a 27 in the chat if you're ready for this next story. Y'all know I like to bring y'all stories that haven't yet. You know, we be on the cusp of information here. We don't be late on something. We be on the cusp of information here. Okay. All right. So there is there's a case that's been going through the courts for some time now. And this case just had a mistrial, which is a travesty in justice, just to be clear. But the family says that they're going to continue to appeal again. Okay, let me read this for y'all. I've been aware of this case for a couple of years now. I don't know if you were, but let's read about it. It says, a white Naperville, Illinois high school student will serve 2 years probation and 100 hours of community service after posting a Craigslist ad offering up his black classmate as a quote slave for sale, end quote, in November of 2019. According to the Daily Herald, the student recently pleaded guilty to 2 felony hate crimes. He was a 14-year-old freshman at the time. He took a picture of his classmate and posted it online on the online classified ad site Craigslist. The ad also featured a racial slur per the DuPage County State Attorney's Office. Quote, hate crimes have no place in a civilized society and will not be tolerated regardless of the accused's age, DuPage County State Attorney Robert Berlin said in the news release. Not too long after the white student was charged with a hate crime in 2019, the Naperville Sun spoke to the black student's mother about how the Craigslist ad impacted her son. Tamara Wallace said the 2 students used to be friends, but they had a falling out at some point that culminated in the ad being posted. So that's the background, okay? That is the background. Just wanted y'all to get the background. Now, hold on. Hold on. Where am I at? Hold on, y'all. This is why it pays to have my all have my stuff all lined up. Wait, this isn't the page that I wanted, y'all. Hold on. Because it gets better. It gets so much better. It gets so much better. So basically, here's what we got going on. Come on. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm usually pretty good about this. Hold on. Um, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't find it, but I got all of the information that I need already. I know it in my head. So what happened after that is this: the mother tried to sue, um, as she should, tried to sue, and so forth, and get, because of course, it dramatically affected her son, and it was traumatic. The son didn't want to go to school no more. Dot 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 dot. Had to change schools. This, that, and the third. She tried to sue. It was overturned on the lower court. She appealed to the, I believe, Sixth Circuit. I think it's Sixth or Ninth Circuit, and they um, granted her. Um, and they granted her. You know, they said that yes, you are owed compensation. The attorneys then appealed it again. I'm sorry, that was the appellate court. They went to the Sixth or Ninth Circuit, I forget which circuit, federal circuit, and it got appealed there by the white boys' parents, and there was a mistrial. And so, because there was a mistrial, that means it gets totally just thrown out, and it's now they can appeal again, and my legal experts help me with this. But the problem is this: the problem is because of the situation with the jurisdiction that it's in, because of the notoriety of the case in that area, they seem to have a problem when it gets down to juries, because the jury either ends up being hung, which leads to a mistrial, or they claim they can't find enough black jurors or jurors of color, which leaves it to trying to be a trial by judge in some cases. And in that area, all of the judges are conservative leaning, and all of the judges, not all, I don't want to use superlatives and definitives and say all, but the majority of them are conservative leaning and so forth. And so they don't see it for this black family and this black child. And so what ends up happening is we have this endless cycle and endless rotation um of nothing happening with this young man. There's another case in the similar fashion, and I'm highlighting these two cases because we continue to see horrible things happening to teenage black boys and girls, and there being no justice for black children. So there's another case of Tyree Bell, who was 15. In 2016, I should say, he was 15, and he was stopped and arrested in Kansas City, Missouri. This is a different case. These are two cases I want to highlight, I should say. He was stopped and arrested by Kansas City, Missouri police for a crime he did not commit. Now, I want y'all to get into this story now. He spent 3 weeks in jail before the police released him after they found out that he wasn't who they were looking for. He was 15. This ain't going back to the days of the Central Park boys. This is 2016. In the days of dashboard cams, body cameras, and so forth. The young man was 15 years old. He was stopped and arrested by Kansas City, Missouri police for a crime that he did not commit. He spent 3 weeks in jail. 3 weeks before they released him. And they only released him because they finally took a moment to look at the dash cam photos and realize, oh, that's not the guy. Bell and his mother filed a lawsuit in 2017 against 2 white Kansas City police officers, Peter Nurkrish and Jonathan Munyon, city officials, and the police department. They filed a lawsuit against all of them. The filing accused them of unlawful arrest, violating Bell's civil rights, and negligent training and supervision, according to the Kansas City Star. The case was dismissed in 2019 by a judge who decided the officers have, quote, qualified immunity. However, the Eighth Circuit of Appeals reopened the case in 2020, and it went to trial earlier this month. Now, the Star reports the case has resulted in a mistrial. Another case that resulted in a mistrial. Resulted in a mistrial because the jury cannot come to a consensus. On Wednesday, Bell's attorney, Arthur Benson, said the family will be moving forward with a new trial. Here's the details of the trial, of what's going on. Okay. Officers Nurkrish and Munyon were responding to a 911 call on June 8th, 2016, after someone called to report 3 black males playing with guns on a street corner. When the officers arrived, one of the young men began running away and tossed a gun over a fence while he was being pursued. One of the officers gave chase but lost sight of the suspect. About 7 minutes later, another policeman saw Bell walking about a mile away and talking on his cell phone. Although he was considerably taller than the suspect, wore his hair completely different, wore shorts, shoes, and socks that were different from those of the suspect, and was breathing normally, because if you running from police, you ain't just gonna be breathing normally on your phone normal. Bell was placed on a 24-hour investigative hold. A juvenile court judge later determined there was probable cause to detain Bell for unlawfully carrying a gun and fleeing from police. He was then detained for 3 weeks. Bell was released after a detective watched the patrol car videos from his arrest and concluded that his clothing and appearance did not match those of the suspects. I just wanted to give you a moment right there to wrap your brains around this. Imagine you're that young man's mother. If you are a mother of a black teenage male, imagine, you talk about sugar spikes. Imagine the hell and high water that you would travail through in a situation like this. Your child ain't doing nothing but walking home on their phone, minding their own business, and gets arrested and looks nothing like the person. They several inches different in height. They ain't got the same hair. They ain't even have on the same clothes. Let me keep going. So, listen, a mess, a damn mess. The family's attorney goes on to say, quote, 15-year-old black males walking home from school in the summer wearing dark shorts and a white t-shirt are not all criminals, suspects to be arrested and jailed for 3 weeks. They do not all look alike, even though 2 untrained Kansas City police officers may think they do. That's what the family's attorney said. Exactly, Simone. They had no idea who they were looking for. Well, no, they knew they were looking for, but they just wanted to pick up anybody they could and get with it. They were angry and they wanted to take their anger out on anybody black. So they needed somebody to take out their anger. This is a classic case. Oh, they knew exactly who they were looking for, but because they couldn't catch that person, well, I'm gonna catch the next black person I can find, and I'm gonna get them. Somebody gonna pay for this. Somebody gonna get get this work and get this anger that I have. During the trial, which began October 4th, evidence presented to the jury included incident reports, patrol car videos, police audio recordings, and maps showing the distance between the area of the reported crime and where Bell was arrested. But the jury, during its deliberations, had several questions about the evidence presented, court records show. After considerable deliberation to reach a unanimous verdict, we are unable to agree without violating some jurors' conscience. A note signed by the jury on 8:46 p.m. at 8:46 p.m. on October 8th said, therefore, we respectfully request to be released as jurors in this case. So let's just be clear. It's already been proven. It's already a fact that they know that this boy is not the one who they were looking for. It's a fact that they arrested the wrong person. And because the family has decided to sue police for all of the things that they're suing for, which they should be entitled to, now y'all got all these questions. Why this case was not over with deliberations in an hour or two? I mean, you should have spent the bulk of your time just signing the documents that you got to sign in the jury room. A mess. A damn mess. What is there to talk about? What is there to deliberate on? I haven't looked it up yet, but I would venture to guess. I bet you these police officers still have a job somewhere as police officers in that town. That's Tyree Bell. You can look him up. Sometimes I have to bring these stories to you because you're never going to hear mainstream media telling you about what's going on with these things. We ain't say 1916. We ain't say 1974. We ain't say 1985. We said 2016. This is what we got going on. What do y'all want me to do with that? I'm trying to figure out what y'all want me to do with that. Hey, what's going on, Social Jeff? What do y'all want me to do with that? If you are a parent of a child, I would be actively throwing stuff at my computer screen or phone screen or television screen right now in anger. So you mean to tell me y'all arrested my child for no reason? So now he has an arrest record as a black male in these yet to be United States of America. Detained him for 3 weeks. Do you see how? No. He was held for 3 weeks. No. Oh, you missed that part, Tabitha. Let me read this part for you again. See, I'm going to read this for you again. Okay. Officers Newkirsch and Munyon were responding to a 911 call on June 8, 2016, after someone called to report 3 black males playing with a gun on a street corner. When officers arrived, one of the young men began running away and tossed a gun over a fence while he was being pursued. One of the officers gave chase but lost sight of the suspect. About 7 minutes later, another policeman saw Bell, that's the young man who we're talking about, walking about a mile away, talking on his cell phone. Although he is considerably taller than the suspect, wore his hair completely different, wore shorts because the suspect had on long pants. He had on a different color shorts, I should say. Wore shorts, shoes, and socks that were of a different color and size than those of the suspect, and was breathing normally because he wasn't running from nobody. Bell was still first placed on a 24-hour investigative hold. Then he went before the juvenile court, and the juvenile court judge later determined there was probable cause to detain Bell for unlawfully carrying a gun and fleeing from officers, and he was then detained for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. You ain't did nothing but walking home from school. 15-year-old boy ain't doing nothing but walking home from school on his cell phone, probably trying to talk to his girlfriend. Bell was released after a detective watched the patrol car video from his arrest and concluded that his clothing and appearance did not match those of the suspect. They didn't even have the same hair. So in 7 minutes, this person not only changed clothes, grew several inches, and changed his hairstyle in 7 minutes while running for the police. And my child is in jail for 3 weeks. And then when I do like I'm supposed to do, which is sue everybody involved, sue the police department, sue the county government and everything, now y'all telling me y'all threw it out because it's a mistrial and the jury can't figure out that I've been wrong and my child has been wrong. And my child now has records and has been traumatized. Simone, I told you they weren't trying to look at the video. They knew that wasn't the guy. They knew if you're running after somebody, you know who you're running after. And the thing about it is, hey, Jay Parrish, the thing about it is they knew that they couldn't catch whoever it was they were looking for. And they were looking for the first black boy they could find. They were like, yeah, somebody gonna get this work. We couldn't find another one. Well, it's gonna be you today. Classic case that's been going on since we got here to this horrible place. A mess. A damn mess. A damn mess. And this is what I'm talking about. So we got the story of the white boy putting the black boy on Craigslist saying that he's a slave for sale. And even though he was charged with a hate crime, they don't want to give that parent no money in the civil suits. None. For that young man. And then we got this other case with Tyree Bell, where we have a complete and utter travesty of the criminal justice system. complete and utter travesty. Because I'll be ready to burn the whole building down about my son. If y'all got my son housed in this place for 3 weeks and it ain't my child, I'm burning the whole building down. Y'all can take me to jail. Y'all can do whatever y'all want, but I'm burning this whole building down. I'm telling you what I know. A mess. A mess. A mess. Just a goddamn mess. I told you your sugar levels was gonna spike. I'm sorry I had to make them spike the point, but I have to give you all these stories when they come because you ain't gonna hear the MSNBCs and the CNNs talking about this stuff. You ain't gonna hear a whole lot of the mainstream media talking about this stuff. But that don't mean we can't talk about it. That don't mean that we can't be aware of it. So what have we learned today, people? Same thing we've known for a long time, that these yet to be United States of America and the people in it ain't shit. I hope the Dems are realizing and understanding that they have lost. I, next year, this time, the midterm elections are going to be a freaking bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath. They are going to lose and go down. The Dems are going to lose and go down in a blaze of glory with all of these missteps, because black people right now want no parts of it. Okay, they want no parts of the Dems because y'all ain't did nothing to help us. Y'all ain't did nothing to look out for us. Y'all ain't even try. Now all of a sudden, because y'all realize and y'all know that y'all are losing your black base. Now, well, we gonna try and get the voting rights act there. How? Because you got your two resident terrorists in Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin that ain't trying to have no parts of that. And here's the and before I get off it, let me say this about the voting rights bill, okay? This is for all of these middle of the road Dems who always say, who always have hope in some of these Republicans that, oh, Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, and what's the dude in Utah that ran for president? I can't think his name right now. God damn it, his name. Mitt Romney. And Mitt Romney, we perhaps can get them to, be level thinkers and come on our side. Ain't now one of them whores voted for the goddamn, but not a single one voted for this voting right acts. Not a single one. Not a single fucking one. Not one. And Manchin over here talk about, oh, I'm not going to vote for these things unless we can get bipartisan support. Let's just be clear. You ain't voting for it regardless. But y'all looking for help from Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins as if they have a moral compass. They don't. They really don't. As if they have integrity about them. They do not. And let's just be clear. Many of the Dems, especially those centrist Dems and a lot of the old guard, they don't have one either. Some of them are glad. Listen, let's just be clear. Some centrist Dems are very glad that some of this stuff doesn't come to a vote because they don't want to have to show their ugly heads. So they don't mind Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin out there taking all of the eyes away from them because they think the same way. Thank you so much, Simone Love, for your for your super chat. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you so much. But they're looking for a cover. A mess. A mess. Just a mess. Just a whole mess. So anyway, that was our politics of it all today. Y'all know we try to keep y'all informed of what's going on. Keep y'all listen. I'm very concerned about the governor's race in my great state of Florida. America's tanked because um because so Annette Tadeo, who's a Democrat in um Miami, in South Florida. She's a state senator in South Florida. Um in the Miami, I think her constituency is between Miami-Dade and Broward counties. Anyway, she's Hispanic and was Latina. I'm sorry, and I got to work on that. The Latinx population, a lot of them say they don't like to be called Hispanic; they like to be called Latin or Latino, Latina, or Latinx. So I got to work on that. And so, but anyway, so no disrespect if you found it offensive, but um, they're muddying the waters. Charlie Crist is running. Nikki Fried is also running. And so you got the three of them that's about to fight it out in the Democratic primaries for governor of Florida. Ain't none of them raising even a tenth of what DeSantis is raising for the governorship there in Florida. And so it looks like he's gonna, bulldoze over them in the gubernatorial elections next year. Unless one of them, I would much rather see the as I would much rather see one person come out and be the person that they're gonna go behind. I wish Annette Tadeo. Oh, you missed a lot, Cams. You missed a lot. We had whole meltdowns, Cams. We've been on here an hour and 45 minutes. I wish that Annette Tadeo would have announced earlier so that more people can galvanize behind her because she is well liked. She can garner the support of the Latinx community down in South Florida. That's very difficult to get. And she is well liked amongst Dems, but is it too late? Is she going to be able to raise money? And remember, in Florida, when they're in legislative session, you are not allowed to campaign. Well, I'm not saying you're not allowed to campaign because you can, but you can't raise money. I know that in Florida, if you are a member of the Florida legislature and you could be running for, and you're running for governor, you are not allowed to collect funds for your campaign while you're in legislative session. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Kev, I had a whole meltdown on Condoleezza Rice. We had a meltdown on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We did. We did. We had a meltdown on Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. We had a sugar spike about how they're not protecting our black teenagers. We talked about Matt Gaetz. We talked about our girl India Walton up there in the state of New York, city of Buffalo. Yeah. What was the first story we talked about? I forgot. It was something we talked about first. Oh, we talked about Brian Kemp and the Braves and Stacey Abrams. Yeah. Cam, just go watch the replay. Just take the red ball it back and watch the replay. Anyway, okay, worthless Monday morning. All right, Cam. I'll see you in the comment section. Shouts out to everybody in the comment section. Shouts out to all my fellow YouTubers in the chat and so forth. Love when y'all come over and y'all give me some best dialogue and commentary in the chat, and y'all keep me going. And we'll keep doing this. I caught your replay yesterday, Tabitha. I see you're doing Sunday. What is it called? Sunday something. Y'all check her out. It's called Sunday Replay. No, Sunday Rewind. I think it's Sunday. So I think it's Sunday Rewind or Sunday Replay. I was watching it yesterday. It comes on around the same time Silly Saturday comes on Sunday mornings. Y'all know we do Silly Saturday over here on Saturday morning, so catch her out. Yeah. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions. Thank you, Sunday Rewind. That's what it is. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. Thank you so much, Quintessential, for your Cash App. Thank you so much, Simone Love, for your super chat. Anybody else that wants to donate to the snack fund so I don't spike out with my sugar spikes and I can regulate my sugar levels, they are down there. They're not required, but they are appreciated. It's my Cash App. And so forth. So if y'all have stories that y'all want, I always say if you have stories or topics that you'd like me to discuss or break down in the politics of it all, please, send all of my contact information is down here. You can send it to me, an email, a DM, or something like that, and I will get to it for you. All right. I think that's all we got for y'all. Until next time. Shondo's around the building. Shondo's in the chat as we go out. Can I get some Shondo's in the chat as we depart? We ain't did that in a while. I feel like I've been neglecting my Shondo's because we can't neglect a good Shondo, okay? So Shondo's, and those people who understand the inside joke understand all puns that are intended with that inside joke. So, but thank you all so much. Anyway, until next time, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely.